the Always Believe House. Oh, we're about to have FUN, fun, because we're going to do test review 5.2. So a magical whiteboard appears. Let's start working. A lot of this test is about solving quadratic equations. And remember, when you solve a quadratic, you're finding out where the parabola crosses the x-axis, which are called the zeros. So let's look at number 1. The easiest possible way to do this is just to graph it. But to graph it, you have to have it solve for 0. So I'm going to get my equation, and I'm going to move the 20 and the 42 over. So when I do this on the calculator, I'm going to push 2x squared. The 20x will switch to a minus, and the 42 will switch signs. So notice, all I did is switch signs because they're on the right side of the equal sign. Everything's got to get moved to the left to graph it. Now then, after I graph this, I'm just going to trace to the zeros, and I want to know one of these is going to be a 0, okay? So I'm going to go to my calculator. I'm going to go to graph. And then I'm going to type in the problem. 2x squared. And then minus 20x. And then plus 42. And then I'm going to hit enter. All I need to do is find the intercept. So hit enter. Notice my parabola's to the right. It looks like it crosses at 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7, right? At 3 and 7. So I'm going to hit menu. I'm going to trace 5. And I'm going to type in 1. And I said 3 looked like an answer, right? So 3, enter. Notice at 3, the output's 0. The other answer looked like 7. 7, enter. 7 is also a 0. Remember also, you can hit the left arrow button and move it across, right? So I'm going to hit like 2, enter. And then I'm going to hit the right arrow button. Okay, and that makes it go to the 0. So the zeros are 3 and 7. So I'm going to go to my paper. The zeros were 3 and 7, and C is going to be the right answer in it. So the parabola crossed the x-axis at 3 and 0. Those are the zeros. Those are the solutions to the equations. Number 2, you're going to have to do this. Notice this is a quadratic function. Okay, so we're going to put this into a table, but we won't do menu 413, which is a linear regression. We're going to do menu 41, and then we're going to do a quadratic regression. So the first thing is to type this into a table. So we're going to go to our calculator. We're going to hit home. We're going to click 1 for new, and we want a spreadsheet, which is 4. Type in the X and Y at the top. Remember, nothing works unless you do that. Now then, I'm going to type in the table, which is 0.2, enter, 0.6. I would type in all of your X's first. 1.4, 2.5, and 3.2. Now then you go back to the top. You got to be at the top, okay, right here. Let's start typing in our Y's. 19.4, and then 34.2, or 34 and 2/10. 48.6, and then 35, and the last one is 6.16. Okay, so I have my text entered. I have to make sure that blue box is on an empty square, or it thinks I'm still typing in the text. Okay, now that I'm going to hit menu, this is where we're going to do statistics again, which is 4. We're going to run a stat calculation, but we're not going to choose 3, linear regression. We're going to choose 6, quadratic regression. And it's going to give us the ax squared plus bx plus c. It's going to give us the a, the b, and the c. So I'm going to type in 6, and then x down, y down, and enter. And bam, I have my a, my b, and my c. And we're going to round these off. So my A is going to be negative 16, my B is going to be 50, and my C is going to be 10. So I'm going to go to my paper, negative 16, 50, and 10. They're big decimals because it can't get it exact, okay? So negative 16, so let's put A equals negative 16, B was equal to, let me go back to the calculator, B was equal to 10, or B was equal to 50, 49.9 is going to round to 50, and C was 10. So 50 and 10. B is equal to 50, C is equal to 10, so negative 16, 50, and 10 is right here in it. Letter B is going to be the equation that gives you those numbers, okay? Pretty simple stuff. Just make sure you do menu 416 if it's a quadratic function. If it's a linear, you're going to still run menu 413. Let's go to number 3. This has arrows at the top, so we keep going to the top, we keep going to the left, and we keep going to the right. The domain will go from negative infinity to infinity, which is all real numbers. And the range keeps going up, and remember, up is greater than and down is less than in it. Right here's my vertex, so it goes from negative 4 up, doesn't it? So I need to be greater than, right? So my range is going to be all of my y's that are greater than or equal to negative 4. Ho, 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 ho. Another way to do this, your vertex is at negative 4, your y-intercept is at 3, 3 is greater than negative 4, which is the inequality we're going to use, okay? And you always use it greater than or equal because it can be negative 4. Now then, let's go to number 4. You need to remember this. This is huge. This is going to stretch or compress it. This is going to move it left or right, but it's opposite. And this number moves it up or down, okay? And this really right here should be to the second power, okay? So we're going to move it left or right, up or down, and we're going to stretch or compress it. Now then, look at this. This is my left or right number, and this is my up or down number. You've got to memorize this, okay? The opposite of a negative 3 is plus 3, so that's a horizontal shift, and I'm going to use horizontal shift. And the opposite of minus 3 is plus 3. Plus 3 is right 3. And then right here, our K is 6. That's going to be a vertical shift. Up 6. That's all you got to do, okay? Remember, the number in the parentheses is left or right. The number at the end is up or down. If it's in front of the X, it's going to be a vertical stretch or compress. Let's go to the next one. This is another one. You got to solve for the solution. Put a bar through the equal. The 42 has to move over, doesn't it? So we're going to type in 5x squared minus 29x and just move the 42 over minus 42. That's what we're going to grab. So we're going to go to our calculator. We're going to hit home. We're going to hit B to graph. I'm going to hit delete, delete, delete. To delete my graph, I'm going to hit tab, and now I can type in the next equation, which is 5x squared minus 29x, and then the opposite of 42 is minus 42. So I have my equation in. I'm going to hit enter. Notice my two zeros are right after negative 1 and around what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, around 7, okay? Now then, notice it's they're multiple choice. So I'm going to hit menu 5-1, menu, trace, graph trace, then hit the left arrow button, and then bam, my 0 is negative 1.2. So go to your paper, and I know one of my answer choices has to be negative 1.2. The only one that had this one's not right, this one's not right, this one's not right. So let's type in 7. If 7 is it, it's going to be right. So I'm going to go to my calculator. I'm going to hit 7 and enter. And at 7, it's a 0 in it. So negative 1.2 and 7 are my zeros. So I'm going to go to my paper. Negative 1.2 and 7. Choice A is going to be it. Just graph it and trace to the zeros. Look at number 6. Okay, I want to know the parabola that has negative 3 and 5, okay? We're going to go through this and do it the long way. One way you can do it is graph all these parabolas and see which one has negative 3 and 5. That would be the long way. The other way to do this, and you got to remember this, my zeros are negative 3 and 5. To go to my factors, they flip. So x plus 3 and x minus 5 are my factors. Then if I multiply this, remember you got to use the full. I'm going to have x squared minus 15, and then we got, what, a negative 5x and a plus 3x in the middle? That's going to be a minus 2x. this equation is going to go through the x-axis at negative 3 and 5. The answer to that would be A. So if I were to graph A, the x-intercepts would be negative 3 and 5. Just remember, your zeros and your factors are opposites, okay? They're opposites. The other way I said like to do it is just to graph every one of these and trace to the zeros. That would also give you the answer, okay? Number 7, okay? Let's transform to create. What are the transformations? Pick 2. The -1, the opposite of that is a +1. That is right 1, and this is going to be down 3. So we need to do a horizontal shift right 1 and a vertical shift down 3. This one and this one are going to be the 2 answer choices. So in this problem here, you're just going to select 2 of them that work. Number 8, which one is the solution sets? Let's factor this. Remember, all you got to do is graph and trace. I'm going to kind of do this and just get the zeros, okay? Y'all can do that. Let's factor this though. X squared minus 5x minus 24. I'm going to drop the 0. Come on, I'm going to factor. 24, the factors of 24 are 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, and 4 and 6. I want to subtract and get 5, so the 3 and the 8 work, don't they? So I'm going to have a -8 and a +3. Put x's on the bottom. X times x is x squared. And I end up with x minus 8 and x plus 3. The opposite of a -8 is a +8. The opposite of a +3 is a -3. These are my zeros. Remember, you could just graph this and trace to get the answers, but 8 and -3 are the zeros, which is going to be this one right here. These are the factors, these are the zeros. So choice B is correct. This one's wrong because the signs are incorrect in the factors. The factors and the zeros are always opposites. Number 9, okay, the vertex is right here. It's a minimum, and it's at 2 and -1. At 2 and -1. The y-intercept is right here at 3. The zeros are 1 and 3. The max or min, we have a minimum, and the minimum's at -1. The axis of symmetry is that dashed line through the middle. It's x equals 2. Remember, it's always an equation, x equals 2. The domain, it has arrow tips, goes from the left to the right. So the domain is all real numbers. And the range is going to go from here up. Remember, if you go up, you're going to use greater than. If you go down, you use less than. Go up, the numbers get bigger. Go down, the numbers get smaller. It's going to be y greater than or equal to -1, which is my minimum, right? Your minimum or max is used in your range. Let's go to number 2. What's the value of f -3? You're going to graph this and trace to -3, aren't you? So all you're going to do is graph this, and this is a squared. Okay, we're going to graph this and trace to -3. So let's go to our calculator. We're going to hit delete, delete, delete. We're going to hit tab. And then we're going to type in the problem. Let me turn the paper over. And we got -2 parentheses, x minus 4, close parentheses, squared. And then we got +5. Hit enter. And then we're going to type in menu 5-1. Okay, and we want -3, don't we? Correct? So type in -3 and hit enter. At -3, my answer is -93. I could also do Control T and then go to the -3 on Control T, right? I could go up and the -3 would be a -93, wouldn't it? So at -3, my answer is -93. And that's what you would record into the answer. Now then, let's look at this. This right here is our vertex. Remember, your vertex would be 4, 5. And this negative means it opens down, doesn't it? So the parabola is going to open down, and the vertex is at 4, 5. If I go back to my parabola on my calculator, I'm going to hit Control T to get out of the table. And I'm going to hit, I'm in trace. So I'm going to hit 4, enter. And at 4, 5, I'm at the top of the parabola. So at 4, 5, that's my vertex. It goes down, and at -3, it was -93. That's what the problem was wanting, okay? We are almost done. Fun, fun, fun. The next one right here, what are the solutions to this equation? So I got to move the 18 to the left. So I got 2 parentheses x minus 2 squared minus 18. That's what I'm going to graph. Make sure you move everything to the left. So go to your calculator. Fun, fun, fun. We need to hit delete, delete, delete. And then tab. And then we're going to type in 2 parentheses x minus 2 squared. And then the 18 is going to flip. It's going to go to a minus 18 because we're going to move it to the right. Now then, right here, the opposite of a negative 2 is a positive 2. 2 negative 18 is going to be my vertex in it. But let's go ahead and hit enter. We got our parabola. Now then we're going to do menu 5-1. And we need to get our zeros, right? And we're going to have to input our zeros. So let's get the left 0 first. It looks like it's negative 1. Boom, it is negative 1. Now then over here, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to hit 4, enter. And then keep hitting the right arrow button. And my other 0 is 5. So negative 1 and 5 are the zeros, aren't they? So my zeros are negative 1 and 5. Remember, if you need to believe, you need a Pentagon T. You're going to do amazing on your test. Watch this video again. Remember, graph and trace to the zeros to get your solutions. You are amazing. You are created to do wonderful things. And you are awesome.